If Phoenix is on your short list, you've probably been told some version of, you'll love it. Everyone does. And that's true for some people. And for others, the Phoenix area quietly becomes harder than expected. The difference usually comes down to one overlooked decision. If you're planning a move to the Phoenix area, there's one mistake that buyers make over and over again. And the frustrating part is this: they don't realize they made it until they're actually living here. It's not choosing the wrong house. It's not overpaying, and it's not even choosing the wrong suburb. It's assuming Phoenix works the same way as the city that they're moving from. And that assumption causes more regret than almost anything else. Most buyers don't see it as a mistake at first. They see it as a reasonable assumption. They assume that daily life will translate here as it did in their prior home. They assume that if something worked where they lived before, it'll work here too. They assume that distance, convenience, and routines all behave the same way in the new location. And Phoenix quietly punishes that assumption. Today, I want to talk to you about the biggest Phoenix relocation mistake that nobody will warn you about, and why so many smart buyers fall into it, and how you can avoid it before you commit. This isn't about fear, it's about the true reality. Most people moving to Phoenix are coming from places where cities are just more compact. That's not Phoenix. The daily life is tighter. Errands are run closer together. Commutes are shorter. And when they leave the house, they run 3 errands and be home quickly. They don't have to plan every trip. You don't have to think about the heat, the distance, the timing in the same ways. That mental model does not translate here the same. Phoenix is not just one city. It's this massive collection of cities stitched together by lots of freeways, arterial streets, and surface streets. And where you land inside that sprawl determines how your life is actually gonna feel. This is the part that most relocation buyers don't understand until after they make their move. They look at Phoenix on a map and think it's all basically the same. It's not. 2 locations that look close on a map can produce completely different daily experiences. And Phoenix magnifies those small miscalculations. The biggest mistake buyers make in choosing location based on price and housing features before understanding the daily logistics. They start with budget, they start with square footage, they start with the pretty finishes, and they assume that logistics will just sort themselves out. They tell themselves if it's only a little bit further out, it won't matter. But in Phoenix, a little further compounds real fast. That extra distance affects your mornings. It affects how you're gonna spend your evenings. It affects how often you go out, you run errands, you see your friends and family. And most buyers don't realize this until the routine becomes repetitive. And Phoenix driving isn't about the distance. It's about that repetition. It's the same drive every day, the same traffic patterns, the same congestion points, the same bottlenecks at the exact same time. And at first, it feels super manageable. Buyers tell themselves they expected this, and they think it's just part of the relocation process. But after a few months, it starts to shape those decisions. You leave earlier than you wanted to. You get home later than you planned. You stop doing things during the week that you used to do without even thinking about it. You don't meet friends spontaneously. You don't run out for one quick thing. You have to plan everything. And that planning quietly eats into your lifestyle, as buyers thought they were moving here for something different. Another thing buyers underestimate is how heat magnifies those inconveniences. In cooler climates, an extra 10 minutes of driving doesn't feel like a big deal, but you just get in the car and you go. In Phoenix, during the summer, that extra 10 minutes changes that behavior. People avoid leaving the house for unnecessary trips. They consolidate all their errands. They tolerate inconvenience longer than they should. They stay at home more than they planned. And suddenly, a location that felt fine during the move now feels limiting. And this is where regret starts to form. not loudly, quietly. Buyers don't usually say, "We made a mistake." They say things like, "We just don't go out as much anymore," or "Everyone feels farther than we expected," or "It's fine, but it's more effort than we thought." And that's the sound of this mistake revealing itself. There's also a major misunderstanding about convenience. Buyers see newer developments and assume everything they need will be built nearby. They see all the pretty renderings and they hear phrases like future retail, planned commercial, and they assume grocery stores, restaurants, and services will quickly arrive. And sometimes they do, but sometimes they take years. And during that gap, daily life requires more effort than they expected. Buyers don't realize how much they rely on those conveniences until they're gone, and they assume they'll adapt. But over time, the efforts just add up. Another piece buyers misunderstand is how Phoenix spreads obligations out instead of stacking them. In more compact cities, tasks stack naturally. You stop for groceries on your way home. You grab food near work. You combine errands without thinking. In Phoenix, sometimes those tasks are more spread apart. You drive out to do more than one thing, then you drive back, then you drive out again. And that fragmentation adds to the mental load. It requires more planning, it consumes more energy, and it reduces that sense of flexibility buyers were hoping to gain. Another uncomfortable truth is that Phoenix doesn't forgive locations mistakes very easily. In some cities, moving a few miles makes a huge difference. In Phoenix, small adjustments can still leave you stuck with the same logistics. Buyers often assume they can make it work. They tell themselves it's just temporary, and they think they'll adjust. But over time, that adjustment becomes acceptance. Acceptance becomes resignation. And that's when buyers start quietly looking for an exit, and they give us a call. Another thing buyers don't expect is how much Phoenix lifestyle depends on timing. Errands aren't just errands, they're timed. You avoid certain hours in the summertime. You plan around the heat. You plan around the traffic. You plan around the distance. And if your location feels forced, too much planning makes life feel constrained. This is where the idea of the Phoenix lifestyle starts breaking down for some buyers. They expect an ease. They expect freedom. And they expected much less friction. Instead, they felt like life required more coordination than they had before. Another major factor is how Phoenix neighborhoods interact with work schedules. Some locations allow a clean separation between work and personal life. You leave work and the life immediately feels different. Other locations blur that line. Long drives, traffic, planning demands just keep work stress lingering into the evening. And that matters more than buyers expect. Work-life balance isn't just about hours, it's about how quickly you can mentally disengage. Location determines that. Buyers who choose locations that support quicker transitions feels like Phoenix delivered on its promise. And buyers who don't often feel like they've relocated the same stress to a summer place. Another hard truth is that Phoenix amplifies those trade-offs. If you save money on the house but lose flexibility, you haven't necessarily improved your life. And if you gain space but you lose convenience, you haven't gained balance. Phoenix makes those trade-offs visible more so over time. The buyers who are happiest in Phoenix approach relocation just differently. They don't start by asking, what's the best deal? Or they ask, how will life actually function here? They think about weekdays, not just weekends. They consider how often they leave the house. They consider how much planning they're willing to tolerate. And they consider how routines might have to change. They choose location that reduces friction instead of adding to it. That mindset makes all the difference. The controversial truth is that Phoenix doesn't reward assumptions, it rewards intentional decisions. If you choose location carefully, Phoenix feels open, flexible, and super freeing. If you don't, Phoenix can feel super demanding. The mistake isn't moving to Phoenix. The mistake is assuming that Phoenix would work just like everywhere else. If you're planning to move to the Phoenix area and want some help to avoid this mistake and others before it costs you years of frustration and stress, reach out to us. That conversation can change everything about your experience here. Getting this right determines whether Phoenix feels like an upgrade you imagined or the place where you quietly wondered why life all of a sudden feels harder than it should. And that decision is worth just slowing down for. If you want help pressure testing your assumptions before you move, reach out to us. Getting honest clarity up front is a lot easier than fixing a location later on.